LSU. They found a way yet again to overcome that horrific defense, which, again, I talk about things I'm not used to seeing, right? Alabama struggling in the offensive line. LSU being this bad defensively against a Wisconsin team that, guys, make no mistake, they were not an offensive juggernaut this year. But if you need help on the offensive side, if you need a confidence boost, the LSU defense is there to help you out. But either way, hey, the Bayou Bengals, the bottom line is this. They got the win, 35-31, back-to-back 10-win seasons in the first 2 years of the Brian Kelly era. And guys, as I mentioned, winning 10 games with that defense, I feel like it's low-key a miracle. I mean, really, truly, when you look at how bad LSU was defensively this year, and you knew, right? You knew that the offense was going to have a really, really big day. You knew that LSU more than likely was going to struggle in this football game because they've struggled against everyone. I mean, guys, Tanner Mordecai for Wisconsin, 27 of 40, 378 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day. Wisconsin also, guys, they ran for 128 yards. Jackson Acker leading the way, 14 for 86. He had a touchdown in this game. Cade Yakimelli, 7 for 45. Will Pauling out there on the outside, 8 for 143 and 2 touchdowns. Bryson Green, 7 for 105 and a touchdown as well. So Wisconsin was clicking, LSU was clicking. This is one of the best games, though, of bowl season. This game was so wildly entertaining, so much fun, which is all we really ask and all we really expect from these games. Great job by LSU. Let me say that. That was a gritty, gutsy win by the Tigers, right? We talk all the time, what's the motivation factor? You know, what does the team want to be there? And, you know, your quarterback had opted out and Jaden Daniels. And, guys, LSU certainly fell short of their goals and their expectations. I mean, I think folks in Baton Rouge were thinking national championship before the season. So for LSU to show up and play that way and fight to the end and find a way to win the ball game to get to 10 wins, give all the credit in the world to Brian Kelly, the culture he's built, that entire coaching staff and that football team as a whole. But guys, you look at LSU, and what's really cool about some of these bowl games, a lot of these bowl games, is because of opt-outs, because of guys declaring for the NFL draft, you have guys that have been waiting in the wings, waiting for their opportunity, that get an opportunity. And sometimes they take advantage of that opportunity. That's exactly what you saw Garrett Nussmeier do. 31 for 45, 395 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have the 1 interception. But Garrett Nussmeier, guys, in my mind, showed me he's ready to be the dude for LSU next year. Now, we've seen Nussmeier have some bright spots and kind of have some up and down, if you will. So I think consistency for Garrett Nussmeier, that's the thing I most want to see in 2024. But you look at that performance yesterday. That, to me, looked like a surefire signal caller, a surefire thing at the quarterback position for LSU. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to phrase that, but you got to be encouraged if you're a fan of the Bayou Bengals out of what Nussmeier showed you guys, throwing for just under 400 yards. I was really, really impressed. Also, guys, you had a brand new OC in this game. You know, there was a lot of change at quarterback, the offensive play calling, both Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton calling the plays in this game. Hankton, I think, being the passing game coordinator. They did a great job. It's going to be interesting to see what direction Brian Kelly goes with his OC. But all in all, a massive success on the offensive side. Josh Williams, I thought, looked good at running back, 12 for 51. He led the way. Brian Thomas Jr. was a certified dude, a stud, 8 for 98 and 2 touchdowns. Guys, I think this is interesting. I want to bring this up. It's sort of a side note, if you will, in this game. But Malik Nabers, you know, playing for the record, I was told by LSU folks that he was always only going to play the first half of this game. Got the record and then opted out mid-game. I thought that was a really interesting move. But I want to push back on some of the things I saw yesterday, because I saw some folks saying that, if I was his teammate, I wouldn't respect him. Like he's this, he's that. I disagree. He's a quitter. Guys, I think college football fans have to get over that. I think we're to a point now, guys, where opting out is so common and it's so normalized and it's so expected at this point. Like, I just don't, I think dying on the hill of calling kids quitters, do it if you like, but you're just wasting your breath because opt-outs aren't going anywhere. And so if Malik Nabers, if he had an agreement to say, hey, you know what, coach, I want to get the record, but once I do, I'm done. When you look at everything Malik Nabers has done for LSU, I feel like if you're one of those people criticizing him and calling him a quitter and calling him this and that, I think you're a little bit misguided in that judgment. I'll just say that. So that was interesting, though. I've never heard of or never seen, I don't think, a player opt out mid-game. But, again, after what Malik Nabers has done for LSU, you get the record. Hey, you got an NFL future to protect. And I know he said he's not sure, but I'd be stunned if Malik Nabers did not go pro. But it makes sense. He gets the receiving record for LSU, which, I mean, guys, is really impressive in its own right. And made a business decision. Best for him, guys. Back to the offensive side. Again, you knew LSU was going to have to overcome the defense struggle, and they've got to get that fixed going into next season. If they haven't fired the defensive coordinator yesterday, I don't know what's going on in Baton Rouge. But the razzle-dazzle offensively, I thought you saw LSU push all the right buttons. Of course, you got a ton of playmakers to work with, but, the play with Harold Perkins scoring a touchdown. And, again, I just think it's really interesting. I wonder what direction will LSU go offensively, right? Do they promote Joe Sloan, who was the quarterback's coach? Do they promote Cortez Hankton, who was the passing game coordinator? Do they keep both guys around? Does Brian Kelly go out and get an outside coach, somebody else to be the offensive coordinator? Because you're going to have to score yet again in 2024. Like, I think, I don't know how much you can really expect. How big of a jump can you expect from the LSU defense? Although they are very talented, so I would expect them to be much better next year. I just wonder what direction LSU goes on the offensive side. But, guys, all in all, like I mentioned, a gritty, gutsy win, I thought, for LSU. Get back-to-back 10-win seasons to kick off the Brian Kelly era. And while it was a season that fell short of expectations, I know many LSU fans will say overall the season was a disappointment. I thought that was a great job. Garrett Nussmeier obviously being the star, the performance he had. And I think it's something where, again, these kind of bowl games that they don't have college football playoff implications or, they are quote unquote meaningless, but they serve as great opportunities for guys who have been waiting in the wings, waiting their turn, and they can provide a lot of promise for the future. If those guys seize the opportunity, I think that's what you saw in the ReliaQuest Bowl. And if you're an LSU fan, you got to be thrilled about the future with Garrett Nussmeier under center.